Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Cabinet Vision Guy. In this episode we're going to take a look again at our advanced assembly shape in UCS, and in the previous episode I took you through everything that the UCS does, and in this episode what we're going to do is we're going to look through the actual UCS code itself and see how we're creating some of these shapes. So to help me explain this properly, I've got my simple example job open with one standard tall assembly placed against a wall, and I'm going to head into utilities and UCSs. And I'm just going to head down to my assembly shape in UCS and head into code. So firstly, right up at the top of the code, we've got a set of variables declared. The first set of variables are for storing and managing CV attributes and parameters, and the second set of variables are just used throughout the UCS. I will keep referring back to these, but I'll obviously explain them as we go. The next thing that we do with our UCS is we actually create a new object, and this is a CV shape object. And this is the shape object we're going to be using throughout our UCS to essentially redraw the shape, whether it's on face, plan or side view. We've then got a set of functions within the UCS. Now the functions here where we're removing certain attributes are literally just removing parameters. So if we change, for example, from a notch to being a curve, what we want to do is remove the attributes that we've got set for the notch and then add the ones for the curve, obviously. So we refer back to several different functions here just for managing attributes. We've also got another function, return parameter, which is allowing us to pass a parameter name, a value and a type. And then once we set that parameter, we're also returning the value as well with this .get parameter value. So again, we're using this throughout the UCS. Now, once we pass the variables and the functions up at the top of our UCS, we're actually getting into the bit where we're doing something. So the first thing that we're actually doing is on assembly level, we're creating a choice list. And this is allowing us to select the face that we actually want to apply a shape to. So that is the face, plan or end view. So to select side, sorry. And this is the ASM shaping side. So this returns a variable shape plane, and then we're using that variable in the rest of our UCS again just to check against. If you haven't seen the video series on JavaScript variables and CV attributes and parameters, I'd advise you go watch that one before digging into this UCS, just because it gives us some best practices on how we handle JavaScript variables combined with CV attributes. But the first thing that we're doing is we're checking that the shape plane is not 0. If it's not 0, what we're doing is we're then performing a switch statement. So we're switching the shape plane, and then we've got the different cases where we want to run a little bit of code here. So for case 1, which is the face, we're setting the shape axis to X, Y. So we're recording the shape axis that we want to get the shape from and apply the shape. And we're also building up the shape type string, which is going to be another choice list, which is going to be the type of shape that we want to apply. So we have different shape types for whether we want to shape in plan, elevation, or end view, because obviously we might want to apply a completely different shape. So we have a different string that's built up here and then applied a little bit further down as a choice list. The next thing that we do with our UCS is we actually set a parameter and we set it to a value of the current selected shape plane. And then in the next section, what we do is we have a variable which is check last face. And if we just head up to the top here, you'll see check last face is the string shape face, which is the same parameter as we're actually setting here. So essentially what we're doing is we're checking to see if the face has been changed. If it has, we're removing the parameter, the string attribute shape type, which is the one that's used when we're building up this string into a choice list in a little bit. So essentially it's just checking to see if we've changed from one face to another, and if it is, it's resetting the choice list that's created using this string. The next thing that we do in our UCS is we get the current shape of the UCS, and to do that we use the this.getShape command. Now what we're doing is we're actually passing the axis that we want to get the shape for. Now if we were to take this out for a second and just pass nothing, what this command would do is it would either return us the face of the assembly if the assembly is not shaped at all. If it has a shape override already present on the assembly, it will return us the shape of the plane that has the override. So if you shape from plan view, for instance, and you run get shape, it'll then return you the shaped face from plan view. I'm going to make sure that I'm passing my axis because I'm presuming that the assembly hasn't been shaped. And what I actually want to do is I want to record this information even though it doesn't have a shape applied, so I can then reset the shape sides. The next thing that we do in our UCS is we come into this conditional statement here, and what we're doing is we're checking to see if the current shape is not null. So we've been able to get the shape from the assembly using the shape axis. And we also check that the shape is not shaped itself. I think I might need to tweak that logic a little bit. But once we do that, we actually record the side types of the assembly. So that's side type 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what we do is we actually store this as a parameter using the return parameter function. So essentially what we're doing is, and I think I'll close the UCS and show you how this one works. So if we select a side type for face, for instance, and then we head into our assembly level parameters, what we'll see is we've got a side type 1, which is 7, side type 2, which is 18, side type 3, which is 6, and side type 4, which is 18. And these numbers, if I just switch over, refer to the side types that we've got selected when we set the side type of the axis that we're currently shaping. So for example, on this one, we've got end auto, we've got top, we've got end auto again, and we've got bottom. If we switch this, and I just return out for a second, if we switch this from a face view where we've got 7, 18, 6, and 18 to a plan view, we'll see that this switches now to 18, 1, 18, and 19. So I'm guessing 18 is an automatic end panel, 1 will be the face, then we'll have 18, which is an automatic end panel, and then 19, which is probably the back. I can go and check this just in the help file. So in the help file, you'll see that we've got the assembly side types listed in here as well. If you're applying a shape to a door or a top, we've also got the side types listed for those too. Now, as I mentioned before, the reason why we're capturing the sides of the assembly for the axis that we're shaping before we apply the shape is so that when we head back and reset the shape, it means that we can set it back to what they were originally set to. So I'm going to head back to my UCS and just continue. So once we've captured the sides of the assembly at the moment, we're also storing these as JavaScript variables to use later on down in our UCS. So at that point, what we do is we create another choice list, and this is for the shape type. And for this one, we're using the shape type string, which is obviously something we're managing up here. So again, depending on the axis, plane, or side of the assembly that we're shaping, we use a different shape type string for the different shapes that we want to apply to that. Now, the next thing that we're doing in our UCS is we're actually managing what happens when we come to reset the shape. So the first thing that we do is we check the shape type is 0, and if we just have a look up here, you'll see we've got shape type is 0, which is remove or reset shape for every different plane that we're going to be working in. And then we check if the object is shaped, and we also check if last face is not null. We then check the new assembly shape and make sure the object is not null. So right up at the top here is where I'm creating my new assembly shape. And then we switch the shape plane, and depending on the case, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, we redraw the shape of the assembly based around that face. So to help me explain this part, what I've done is I've just grabbed the images of the assemblies with the side numbering, and I'm just going to talk you through the code that we've got in here. So the first thing that we do is when we come to redraw the face or reset the shape from face view, we create a new line, and that line is drawn from 0, 0, which is down here, and we draw it across to this .dx in the X position and 0 in Y, so essentially we're just drawing across the bottom of the assembly itself. And this is where we need to be quite conscious of winding and the aside ordering that we have to follow in CV. So we draw across the bottom first, and then we draw the side to the right hand side, and then across the top, and then down the side. So the first line that we add in again draws across the bottom. The second line goes from this.dx in X and this.dx in X for X1 and X2, and then 0 at the bottom here, and it draws all the way up to the top of the assembly. And then we go from the full width and height of the assembly, so this.dx and this.dy for the X and Y position, to 0 in the X, so we're drawing all the way across, we're maintaining the height for the assembly, so it's this.dy. And then for the last line, we're coming down the side here, so we're taking that from 0 in X, and we're taking that from the full height of the assembly, and we're drawing all the way back down to the bottom 0 here. The code is very similar if we're running through the section for plan or side view. The only difference obviously is we're working with this.dz and this.dx if we're working on plan view, and then we're working with this.dy and this.dz, which is obviously the height and depth of the assembly, or the width and depth of the assembly for the different axes. We also follow a slightly different winding, although the principles are the same. When we're shaping in plan view, we start off down here, again closest to 0, 0, and the first thing that we do is we draw in y essentially, and we start off 0, 0 and use this.dz to draw our first line. And then from this.dz in y, we then draw this.dx, which comes across here. And then from the width of the assembly, this.dx, and the depth, we draw all the way back. And at that point, we just add the final line, which returns us back to 0 from the width of the assembly here. Again, the side view is very similar, apart from we're using this.dy and this.dz. I'm not going to take you through this one. The only difference, again, with this one is we start up on the back edge closest to 0 and move up and around here. So once we've redrawn or reset the shape of our assembly, what we need to do is reset the side type to be our original side type, and this is where this section comes into play. So when we're creating the parameters here, or returning the parameters, we're actually storing them in JavaScript variables. And now when we come to reset our shape, what we're doing is we're just using the JavaScript variables. So we've got side 0, and that should say side 1, 2, and 3. So I'm just going to update that one now. And what happens is, obviously, when we do this set side type, we're using the stored side types that we've got as CV parameters. And then the last thing that we're doing is we're performing this .set shape, and then using the shape axis and using the new assembly shape we've created. And once we've got the shape set, the very last thing that we're doing is just removing or calling functions to remove any attributes that we've got set for the different shape types that we're setting down here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at how this works, and then probably wrap up this episode, and then we'll continue looking at the different shapes that we can create in the next episode. So to show you how we go about resetting a shape, if I just take my shape we've got here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to be a partial angle left, for instance. And with this, what I've got now is some different side types. I've got a left end, a bottom, obviously, a right end, a top, and a top. And if I want to reset the shape, all I have to do now is go from setting this to a partial angle to reset shape, and you'll see my shape itself resets. Now, when we're actually applying a shape to an assembly, and I'll just enable my angled unit again, what we're actually doing is we're making a permanent modification to the assembly, and we don't actually need the UCS running all the time to apply this shape. So what happens if I turn this UCS to none? You'll see that the shape remains as an override on the assembly, and obviously I don't have the option to reset the shape now, but if I right click and go to properties, I can restore the original shape by going to overrides and removing the shape XY template. Now again, because I can switch my UCS off once I've modified my shape, if I need to, I can right click on my assembly and modify my shape manually again if I need to as well. So I'd still have full control over the shape that I'm putting in here if I want to draw something really weird that I've not included in my UCS. Hopefully you found this episode useful. Join me in part 3, where we're going to be continuing through the UCS and looking at how we build up some of the shapes. Feel free to give us a like, share and subscribe. We're also on Facebook, that's facebook.com/thecabinetvisionguy, and Instagram too, that's instagram.com/thecabinetvisionguy. Cheers!